Thank you, Chamal, for that lovely introduction. One of the things I get asked all the time is that you play a lot of different roles, and therefore you must have a huge collection of hats. Now, jokes aside, all of these metaphorical hats are kind of useful now that I think of it, because I always get asked, as a journalist, aren't you afraid of losing your job to AI? And that is a very real concern that a lot of people have had. And because of that is actually what prompted me to start writing on the topic and delving deep into it. And today we have a very distinguished panel that I would like to have this discussion with. And I think Dr. Sagara, we will start with you. So, as an educator, how do you inspire students to embrace AI creatively? And what can schools do to prepare the next generation for teaming up with AI in creative projects?
Thank you. So actually, when it comes to AI, so nowadays AI is there everywhere. It actually changes the way that we think and that we do things. So for example, like if we take it decides if you apply organization, it will do the CV screening and it decides whether you are going to be recruited or not. So healthcare, it decides, it actually helps doctors to make the decisions. Likewise, everywhere there is AI. So this AI, so now when it comes to the education, so now we have three pillars. Now we have the teachers, students, as well as AI. So we have to go with this new technology. So we have to adapt, we have to teach our students how to use this as a new tool to innovate, to use this in order to upskill their innovation and creativity. So we are actually in the process of introducing this into our curriculum as not as a particular technology to use. Like for example, if we teach our students how to use ChatGPT during their bachelor's, and when they come out of the university, the ChatGPT will be changed, right? So there will be no ChatGPT anymore, and there will be a new technology will be there. So always we are actually in the university system or the academia, we try to teach our students how to use AI as a tool and how to use this in order to innovate and upskill their creativity. So that is the, I think, most importantly that we need it. So on the other hand, if we take like, I remember that when there is calculators in 1980s, the maths teachers, they had a protest not to use calculators during the maths class. But today, all the maths class that everywhere, even in the examinations, we allow to use calculators. So the same goes with the AI. So AI is a tool, and now we have to teach students how to use it as a tool and how to make it in order to improve their skills.
Thank you for that. My next question is for Jago. Your work challenges traditional design. How does AI help push the boundaries in what you do, and what possibilities do you see for the future?
Hello, thank you for the insightful questions there. Well, with AI, beyond the collective dreaming that might be possible in the future where we can work in real time, where we can generate collective real-time imaginings within events or within festivals, free from the VJ or free from the video mixer. I think what it does is it brings people together. You mentioned the word immersive, and if we think about the technology that we're also used to, when the camera came out, that allowed us instantly to share photos, that allowed us to understand the world view. The camera even gave us an understanding of entertainment. We didn't know entertainment until the camera showed us something funny, and we shared. The internet, look at how we connect with people we don't even know. We connect with so many people we don't know. on a daily level in some ways and some levels within the internet. And AI is another one of those tools. So all of this technology actually is bringing us to a point where we can be much more collective with our practice. Now the challenge is, can you put to one side your individuality? Can you see that the collectivity that we can get might not be the same as what you want as an individual, but can give you something more as well? And that's where I see AI going, providing us an opportunity to connect more and be more collective.
Wonderful. Kanishka, with your experience in tech and human collaboration, how do you see AI and human creativity working together seamlessly?
Right. So when it comes to working together without any issue, because first thing that we see is there'll be a conflict between AI and humans, right? So that's the thing that we usually use the word harmony and those kind of things. So in my opinion, there'll be always a resistance against technology that we are trying to introduce to one. As an example, I think in England, 1800s, when they're trying to introduce machines, specifically to textile industry, there was a resistance. And also when it comes to, I think, computers, also there was a resistance in 1980s. So there will also always be a resistance against the technology. But the thing is, whether it will stop there or whether it will move along with people. So as an example, if people stopped using machines back then when there was a protest or when there was a resistance, then of course we don't have this luxury of getting all these clothes at this price, right? So my opinion would be to make it work seamlessly without any issue among people and machines. What we have to do is we have to use it as a tool. As Dr. Sagar mentioned, don't make it a competition. Move along with it and also make it a tool that where you can get your repetitive work or the work that you have to do again and again without using your creativity or innovation. Use that as a tool so you can make your efficiency or you can improve your efficiency. So that's how I think we can improve and we can work seamlessly with AI.
Certainly. Shivan, Apollo Digital has been shaking up marketing. How do you think AI will shape the creative side of marketing, and where does human instinct fit into this?
Thank you very much for that question. I think to answer the first part of it, how exactly we utilize it. In our line of work, we have two things that clients look for. It's communicating with audiences, communicating with people they want to reach out to, which is essentially branding and reaching out. And the other side is performance, trying to understand what users like, trying to understand what gets them to understanding what gets them to purchase something. See, we use artificial intelligence in every commercial way possible, right? Our goal in the company is to maximize efficiency and optimize to the point where we understand users better than anyone else. And to this day, artificial intelligence plays an extremely important role. I can't say that it manages all our business. I can't say that we use it entirely because it's still very new. But I genuinely do believe that right now we harness it to the best of our abilities. And the honest truth is we are investing in the future. I think the future of artificial intelligence is what we all need to be looking at right now, because right now we have the most commercial options available. Once things do pan out, I think the options available will be absolutely amazing. In terms of the human element, right? I think it's the CEO of IBM who said that if he was to decide what the initials of AI would be, he would rather call it augmented intelligence. Augment meaning to make something better by adding to it, right? And I couldn't agree with that anymore, right? Because of the fact that at the end of the day, with every AI tool that we have, you need a prompt. You need to tell it what to do. Artificial intelligence at this current point in time lacks sentience, right? So I think where we are right now, with most agencies in the country, with most consultancies, there is a unique opportunity to use AI to improve your business. And the honest truth is, I think myself and Jago had a brief conversation prior to this panel, and we kind of understood that in Sri Lanka at this current point in time, there's like a fear, right? People are afraid that AI will replace us. People are afraid that at any point in time any job could be replaced. And the truth is, I understand it's a very justifiable fear. But the word I used, sentience, that is something that AI will most probably never have. Right? The ability to feel, the ability to understand, take a designer, right? Designers, one would assume, is someone who uses Illustrator or uses whatever software to, create a piece. But realistically, what a designer is doing is they're communicating what the client wants. The client struggles to understand what exactly the customer wants, and so they help them communicate and bridge that gap essentially. So the ability to understand what the client wants, I do not believe that AI is capable of doing that right now. But it is people for the time being. So where AI plays a fit, there's harmony, as you said earlier.
Jago, creating immersive AV experiences is your thing. How can AI make these experiences even better, and what hurdles do designers need to watch out for in utilizing AI?
As an artist and designer, I'd say we still have the same problems, and we're always going to have the same problem, and that's what are we going to do with it? What do we want to say with our tools, with our materials? And as artists and designers, we're in a good position because what we do, we tend to look backwards in order to go forwards, don't we? And that's a really strong position to be in as an artist or a designer. So when I'm thinking about how we can move forward with this technology, I'm thinking about how we can connect it with those crafts of yesterday, or the old technologies with the new technologies. Or should we call it the old crafts with the new crafts? Because before the word technology came, it was all craft. Before design was craft. So I'm keen to see how we can use AI to bring back what contemporary world is forgetting, to bring back an understanding of those skills or those laborers or those craftsmen and craftswomen around the world working as they do, and how we can in some way use these technologies to share those conversations as well. In my own research, I'm looking at ceramics, and I'm going out to the provinces. I've got a research proposal to go out to the Chinese provinces and work alongside the craftsmen and the porcelain potteries as well, and make this relationship between the old and the new as well, and have it as a space of equal standing for both of the media forms. I think that would be one of the best solutions for myself, is for us as creatives to think about what is missing, what is leaving, what is going, and to think about how we can use the new tools that the 4 panelists, including myself, use to share those stories again. And it's very possible.
Thank you. Dr. Sagara, in your AI research journey, how do you handle the ethical side of AI in creativity? Any guidelines or principles you believe are important?
Yes, as we all agreed, so AI is actually changing the way of our lifestyle. So if we go to social media, it decides what to see and what to not to see for us. Like, so if you go to the Netflix, it gives us recommendations, and it makes us like what to watch. Likewise, nowadays AI can use to create new content, text, image, even the videos. So all of these changes. So these AI can make like things creatively, like it may surpass the humans, or it may augment the human creativity. So all of the things, there are like several trustworthiness should be there. So as humans, are we going to trust AI things, AI systems, or so there are several pillars that actually governs this trustworthiness. Like first is the explainability. Then it should be there should be the robustness, the transparency, the privacy. If we come to the explainability, so these AI systems should be able to explain like what type of data it has been used, and from where this data came from, and what are the insights that we generate. And so it should be explainable how the decision is making. So then when it comes to the robustness, so we have to say that this, we have to prove that our AI system is not going to bias to someone and give special benefits to this particular people, right? So the fairness should be there, as well as the transparency. So when it comes to the AI ML life cycle, it should be transparent. it. So the data that we, if you take an AI system, so the main, the fuel is the data. So we have to be very cautious about the data from where we get it, and we have to actually protect the ethical aspects of the data, especially if we don't use the data after we using it. We have to either delete it, or we have to make it like not usable anymore. So there are several guidelines introduced by UNESCO and IBM to protect these ethical behaviors of AI, especially in the IBM. They have several guidelines saying that when we use AI is there to augment the human creativity, not to surpass or not to replace the humans. As well as when we come to the AI ML life cycle, it should be transferable, and the privacy concerns are there. So when it comes to AI ethics, so ethics are there to actually discern what is good and bad. So there should be a kind of a human-centric approach to protect the ethics.
Thank you. Kanishka, you've also done a lot of cool stuff in AI. Can you share a project where AI and humans teamed up unexpectedly well, going beyond expectations?
Yeah, so there was this one project that we did back in, I think, 2014. This is more into robotics, like robotics also AI, completely AI. So back then, online shopping industry was booming, and there was a huge hit on the physical retail industry. So physical retail industry, they wanted to save some money by getting some work out of the actual labor and save some money. So a client that we work with, they also wanted to save some money. And while we are doing that, so many of our competitors were trying to replace employees. Like as an example, they were trying to implement these self-checkout systems and also service robots to help with customers when in their retail and all. So in addition to that, our client and us both, so we wanted to take a different approach where we wanted to check for pain points of the employees and to help them with AI or the robotics or machines to make their lives easier. So there was one instance that we understood where this inventory tracking was one of their really hated jobs that at the time. So they had to go through like say 100,000 foot square feet area and take the inventory, and that's a really difficult job to do. But this could be easily solved by using a robot. So what we did was we simply developed an autonomous robot. At night, it travels through the floor and take all the inventory. Now the good thing is, like how it worked together with humans is, like if we tried to implement the same projects like our competitors did back then, we also tried those, to be honest. But in that case, there was a huge resistance from the employees because they know that we are trying to replace them, or we are trying to get their work out of them. But like we also tried that approach. But then when we were trying to introduce this robot, they were really happy and they were really interested to work with this because it was taking a hated job from them to the technology domain. So in that case, at some point we were even trying to post that project for a while because of this COVID and all, but still they were coming and asking, the employees, not the client, the employees were very interested to keep this robot running because it was really helping them. So my point is, like if you want to make sure that technology goes to the actual ground level or the AI or whatever that you are trying to implement, try to work with the actual humans and try to understand their pain points and try to address those issues. That is one of my favorite projects because it went to the ground level very seamlessly and they were really interested about the project.
That's lovely. Shivan, so Apollo Digitals has had massive success. How has AI played a role in that? And what do you think is coming next for AI in growth consultancies?
I wish I could give a very long answer to this question. The honest truth is, at this current point in time, AI hasn't done much for us, right? Everyone in our company uses AI, from the content writers to the marketers to the performance analysts, data analysts, production. everyone uses it. But even though everyone uses it, I can confidently say that AI hasn't done much because our company's success is a result of the people within it, right? And I think this says a lot about AI, right? No matter what, AI will always be around, but it will only be, used in a way that is, it will only be considered to be great if it's used by people who are great, right? And I think I saw a study about the Sri Lankan army, right? Even though we have the worst weapons, we have the worst equipment, possible, we tend to outperform in comparison to most others, right? And the main reason for that is irrespective of what weapons they may be given, they're trained well enough to use it, right? And I think that's another thing that says a lot about how AI should be used. So the honest truth is, at this current point in time, it hasn't done much. But we are anticipating, right? We are investing quite a bit into AI because the future, it dictates that, AI will be a very big part of everything everyone does, right? And so, yeah, that's essentially my answer.
Thank you, and I completely agree as well. Jago, you've been all over the globe with design. How does AI fit into diverse creative practices, and how can educators make sure AI is used thoughtfully in different creative contexts?
Good question. So I'll put my program leader's hat on and talk a little bit about how we integrate it into education as well. We know that the creative industry is changing as a result of this. And it would be foolish if we didn't listen to the CEOs of global design industries when they come into the classrooms and they work with our students and they say, for example, one of them said, we don't give $5,000 to one designer anymore, we give $1,000 to 5 designers who go out and prompt and find these wonderful elements. And then we'll see which one we want to take forward. So AI is definitely a part of the creative industries now, and we do have to change the way that we are teaching our young designers, our young creatives. We have to stay on top, as the panel was saying, we have to stay on top of our skill set. We have to question those outdated skills that we might be teaching and bring in the new. Interestingly, the students are the ones who grab it and harness it instantly. They do need teaching. They do need to be shown how to use it as tools. In this world where we're so submerged in immersive media, it's important that we show the younger generation how to use it as tools. But there are hurdles, and a lot of those hurdles are the educators. So we need to ensure that we educate the educators. So that in a part of education, that's where the resistance is as well, to ensure that our staff are understanding how to use it and how to share with it. We need frameworks, statement of intents, where, for example, a scale of 1 to 5, you can use it as much as you want, to you must not use anything. We need it on the top of the table, not under the table. I think that's the most important lesson that we can have in our schools, is to ensure that we're aware it's being used, we know it's being used, but we want you to use it properly and intelligently. So these are all the kind of moves that we're making within institutes right now.
Lovely. Kanishka, so you're also, I was told you're also into music, art, and travel. How do these interests shape your blend of tech skills and creative thinking in AI? And how does looking at the big picture help humans and machines team up better?
Okay, so when looking at the creative domain, specifically in my opinion, probably this in design domain, there'll be technical terms for this area. So I see 2 major areas. The first one is like ingenuity or the creativity, where you get the novelty to a design. And the second one is perfecting it with your practice. So what I think is when it comes to AI, at the moment, AI is more into looking at examples and learning. So looking at the prior work and learning how to do it again. So that creativity part or the ingenuity part is still not there in AI, like in a big level. Maybe there'll be in future. But so in that case, what my suggestion would be to focus more on that creativity part, where you all are gifted with. So use that part and use AI support to make it perfect, or you can try multiple designs at a given certain time So you can get it done easily with the help of AI. So, and also when it comes to that, I think Dr. Sagar mentioned about ethical background also. So we have to look at that also, because the design domain, there's this huge controversial topic about using others' work to train AI models. So I strongly believe that there should be a heavy ethical background on this side. And because like even when you're trying to do a poster design or something like this, very simple design, we can't buy images for free, right? We have to pay for their effort that they have done to create those small, even if it is a small image that they have created. So similar to that, if someone is using someone else's work to train their models to get that information into AI, I believe there should be a framework for them to get paid or for them to be at least recognized. So that is a must in AI industry. So if we come back to the original question, so in that one, in my opinion, we should focus more on that ingenuity part and practice more on getting the help out of those tools to do the perfection or making it, placing all these things in a design is your ingenuity. That is where that you bring the uniqueness to your design. So focus on that part and let the AI or whatever the technology, rest of the technology, to do the rest of the work and make it perfect in the when you're trying to put it out. So that will be the best way to.
Thank you for that. Dr. Sagar, can you share a story where AI-driven ideas have really changed things up in your work, whether in academia or industry?
Yes, from my domain, actually my expertise in the natural language processing, so which is one of the applications, prominent applications from Gen AI, generating new text or new content. So they are one of the main problems in, even in Sri Lanka, was in machine translation, where we translate one language text into another, like English to Sinhala. Actually, until very recent, we tried with very different approaches, but the accuracies was not good. However, with the recent generative AI approaches, we were able to enhance these translation accuracies between the languages. So they are actually, this language processing is, when it comes to it, it's kind of a very, it involves, translation involves creativity actually, because it depends on the cultural and fluency backgrounds. So that is one of the experiences that I have used this AI into one of our projects. As well as there are other projects that we involved in, like analyzing the social media behavior of the users and get whether they are kind of in a depression mode, kind of what type of mood they are in right now. So this also actually gives very good improvements and very good accuracies when they are predicting the moods based on especially the content they have shared. So those are actually very interesting and I'd like to share.
Thank you. Siobhan, jumping from law to leading a successful growth consultancy is quite a journey. How has this unique path influenced your approach to bringing AI into creative marketing? And any advice for others doing the same?
Yeah, so just so everyone knows, I'm a law school dropout, right? And I have an interesting story around it, right? Around the time my company started doing well and we were growing, we got investment, I was looking to, stop wasting my time with law. I loved it, but it was not where my mind was at. And I recall going to my parents and breaking it to them and telling them that, listen, I want to drop out of law school, and all of you can probably imagine typical Sri Lankan parents. They want me to be a lawyer. Their son is a student who's been getting the best results, graduated valedictorian. Now he wants to drop out of law school. They lost it, right? And I remember one of the things that I pulled out of my hat was I saw a video that in Boston there's an AI lawyer. So what's the point? Why would I become a lawyer if there's an AI lawyer? And if they bring that to Sri Lanka, what am I going to do? Right? Am I going to work for the AI lawyer? Like, how does that work? And the honest truth is I pulled it out of my pocket. I saw it on a TikTok video. There was no real sense behind it, but it is what I used. And the honest truth is, switching to marketing from that point, one would assume that's even crazier because AI governs every part of it. And I think that's when I realized that the reason we're adopting artificial intelligence is not because it's an option, not because it's good, but it's because, you know, the principle of survival of the fittest suggests that no matter what, innovation always wins. And if you aren't a part of it, if you don't join the train, you will be left behind. So that is where our company is right now. Right? We are adopting to it, we are investing in it because we know there is no option. Right? Innovation always wins. So that's essentially what it is. What I would recommend to everyone is put aside the fear. Right? Look forward. I think, like Mr. Jago just said, right? People need to stop looking at backwards to look forwards. Just look ahead, right? When you look at what we have right now, look at the opportunities we have right now, there's so many out in front of you. And as scary as they may seem, you know, 2-3 years down the line, those opportunities, those technologies that we have that seem so scary, seem so intimidating, would be almost, you know, in the past they would be old. So yeah, I would say embrace.
Thank you so much for this very insightful conversation. So as we wrap up, I have one final question for all four of you, which is, you already kind of covered this, but what key piece of advice or insights would you offer to individuals looking to navigate and thrive in a future where AI and human creativity are increasingly intertwined?
We'll follow the sequence. There's something that I've been noticing working with AI, but I'd like to call it generative, really. And we do use that word generative, don't we? Generative design. And if we think about what generative means, it just means to make and make and make and do and do and do, doesn't it? And I think there's something beautiful about the medium of AI, is that it allows us to get lost in the making, again, similar to the craftsman would get lost in the making. It's familiar to see in school students that don't make steps with their work, you know? They stay here, but they want to be here. This is what they dream in, being a designer. And the designer's over here, but I'm over here. You know, there's a problem there, isn't there? And that's that problem here, isn't it? And I think that generative design breaks that gap and that distance between what we think we are and what we're actually doing. So when we can get into that world of working with generative design, we're doing it, we're being it, we're making the work. We're not worried about making a mistake. We're not worried about not being where we want to be. We're actually in the middle and in the process of making. And that's the beauty of generative, and that's the beauty of immersion, isn't it? So as a result of all of this practice, we've been given a set of tools that can allow the world of creativity to loosen up. And from that, spring about all of these wonderful sort of ideas that the panelists have as well, you know, and other ones that we couldn't think possibly were even possible and plausible. I'll pass it on.
Same question applies to you as well. Do you want me to repeat the question? Yeah. Okay. What key piece of advice or insight would you offer to individuals looking to navigate and thrive in a future where AI and human creativity are increasingly intertwined?
Yes, actually with the recent advancements in Gen AI, actually this AI-based creativity actually driven into many aspects, right? So it, as I have mentioned, that it involves in generating new text, new content, new images, as well as new videos. So we have to come up with ways that how we go with these new technologies, and how we can use these to improve and enhance our creativity in different aspects. So we should not actually depend on this. So we should use this as a kind of tool that we use it to improve our skills. So thank you.
And Kanishka?
Yeah, I think I sort of answered this, but you may think that design industry is affected by AI, will be affected by it, but in my opinion, design industry will be the least affected one in future, because AI is more into practicing and generating what they have seen. But you know, the fashion or design industry, it's all about introducing new things. Like You can't survive in the industry unless you introduce a new thing. So that is something that AI is not capable of. So my advice would be, don't make it a competition. Try to learn the tools where you can get the help out of it and use those tools to do the repetitive work, and then that should be the easiest way to survive in this AI wave.
Thank you so much. I think you collectively have alleviated the fears a lot of people have had about AI taking over everyone's jobs. And I think it's very clear now that we simply have to use AI as a tool and not see it as competition. So thank you for that. And I am now going to open the floor to any questions. Do any of you have questions for our panel? Yes.
So myself and being behind the advertising industry, and we also try to use AI to the best way we can. But one of the areas that we want to constantly explore is how to evaluate what is a good tool and what is not a good tool. Is it to trial and error, or because it's so new and that it's almost like a universe that keeps growing? How do you evaluate that?
I think because of the novelty of it, because of how new it is trial and error. Most advertising agencies run A/B testing, figuring out what the users like, constantly testing to understand what elements of the people like. And so even in design, it's essentially the same thing. You don't necessarily know what works and know what doesn't work, right? So it is trial and error, it is constant practice, constant learning. And the honest truth is that tools that we have today are the same tools that will develop and have more technology that enables you to do more. So what I would recommend is don't look too far out of what's well known right now. Try to hone your skills, focus on nailing it right now, which is what our team is doing right now. And as the software has developed, so will they.
I can add to that as well. Are you using it at the moment in any way?
Yes, so sometimes, to generate certain work, and yes, we use it as an aid, not as the entire
Yeah.
entire thing.
Yeah.
So it's like adding value to what it can generate. But often what we ask ourselves is, okay, that whenever you go online, just constantly you're bombarded with there'll be ads coming on to you saying use this for this, use this for that. You're constantly bombarded with a lot of AI the moment you start using it. So then the question is, what is a good platform to use, what's a good tool to use? That's where we also want to understand, like how you have review sites of places. Okay, the traditional, like if you're going to a restaurant, it's very easy to you most probably go to a review site and find out this is what
Yeah.
you want. But here when it comes to this particular area, it's quite new.
Yeah.
So we are also learning in the,
Yeah.
shooting in the dark at sometimes.
We all need signposts, don't we, really, I think, as well. And hopefully through the conference we can perhaps share some of those resources as well with people who are interested. But I would say, I'd say you're doing the right thing, and look at it like a design project where we would send people out to a location or a community and they'd gather research and they'd come back and we'd pin it on a wall and we'd discuss it, But now look at it in a research space where now that community is AI. And there are design agencies now that have those research points of every week, Friday afternoon, or they dedicate some time to it, or maybe they work with a school like AOD and they get some interns in, and they give the job to the interns, and they say, right, we want you to research this for 5 days, and they start developing a map for the agency. And there is no right and wrong, as you correctly said, it's developing at a rapid rate, that there are no right and wrongs, and everything's in flux at the moment, But what you can do is have observing eyes, exploring it and experimenting with it, and for you as the team to rationalize that as well. That's how I'd be looking at it, as a sort of research activity that you could be getting some of the younger generation, the interns on, give them the task, let them explore it. But there are a few leaders, and we can share those links with you as well, of the people who are doing the real work and now thinking about the commercial application of it through design and advertising, and thinking about the licenses very carefully as well. Yeah.
So you said that AI took over like a job that these employees hated, and it's a good thing, right? But I just have a question about how AI is also taking over jobs that people do love doing as well, like artists. They've been practicing for years and years, and Vision just comes along and people just text to image and their commissions are gone, right? They just use that to like sell their images, right? I have nothing against AI,
Yeah.
but like I'm just asking you, what about the jobs that people do love doing that AI is taking over?
Yes, basically in that case, so whenever you ask an AI to generate an image, at the moment it's not capable of doing an genuine creative art, right? So what it does is it collects certain experiences that it has seen before from some other people's work and generates something similar, right? Yeah. So in that case, I don't think that it will ever gain the value of a real piece of art, right? If you generate it then with AI. So say that you ask an AI to generate an image that or a painting that you want to create, right? So it's basically a part of someone else's work that it's giving out.
So exactly, so AI is free and
It's not free. That's
no, exactly.
yeah.
No, I'm talking about Midjourney and stuff. Most of those softwares are free. And artists charge for their work and people don't want to pay, so they settle for less.
Yeah.
Alright? That's because AI does exist, right?
Yes.
Because small artists who used to do commissions are losing their jobs. People are just using like whatever AI software they can use to generate their images. That's what I'm asking you about.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I mentioned that we need a very strong ethical background to use of others' work, because that now you say that that if there's a software that giving this out for free, which means that they have paid. If we should find that whether they have paid that original owners of those images.
I mean, most cases they don't. They just use
Exactly.
artists' work to
Yes,
AI,
exactly.
just so that they can generate this kind of like.
So in my opinion, what should happen is that should be illegal. So whenever that you are using someone else's work to train an AI model, I think Dr. Jha will also agree. So in that case, there should be a framework, a legal framework, not an ethical, more like a legal framework. So where the original artist should get paid if someone else is using their work for to generate AI component.
Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair.
yeah. So that's a must actually.
Can I just add to that as well, because it's an important subject actually as well, you know. Think about journalism. Remember when the mobile phones came out, and then all of a sudden we could do the photography, we could do the journalism, we could put it onto Twitter and we could share our voices. The amateur photographer became the journalist, and newspaper houses closed down in New York, didn't they? But is it not right that all of this becomes democratized, that this becomes ours and not owned by one person? Is it not right that we move away from that media mogul and become more this world of collectivity where we're part of that process? So it is a move from the one to the many. It really is. And there are many politics around which one is better and which one is worse, which one is not right and which one is more fair. But the tools that we're being provided are moving us into this world of being more collective. And you do have to evaluate your skills, because some of those skills will be outdated, and you will have to be, as what designers are, flexible, agile. That's central to our practice. So you have to be able to move like that. Look at the world of Saatchi and Saatchi in the 80s and the big empires they grew. That's impossible today. And tomorrow other things will be impossible as well. So move with the processes and move with your practice, and situate yourself in a position where you can make the most and have the advantage in a place where you're happy with your creativity, and in a place which is utilizing the technologies of today in a way that you're comfortable. Yeah?
Thank you for that wonderful question. Anyone else? Yes.
So my question is around a bit of the ethics side of things regarding responsibility to that values. Because now it's kind of moving towards more algorithmic management of work, or where algorithms have more power over how things get allocated. There's
Yeah, actually, when it comes to the ethics, so one of the fields in AI is the data. So we have to, like, as I told, like there are several aspects, like there are several pillars, like the transparency should be there. So, however, when it comes to the policy-wise, so most countries nowadays, they are implementing their own policies, like in the US, in the UK, they have their AI policy. In the US, they have their governing bodies are there. In Sri Lanka also, we have ICTA, and they have different policies they have implemented there, and they have different regulations in according to this data policy violations that we can actually take actions on, as well as there is ongoing activity on AI policy for Sri Lanka as well. So that is also in the parliament that they are going to, that in the discussion level, in the sectorial committees, they are taking it. So likewise, there are different bodies. So actually, when it comes to globally, there is UNESCO, they are actually giving some guidelines and like how to use this AI and how to use data in transferable manner. Apart from that, so it's mainly, I think it's our responsibility when we use it in a way that we can accept it ethically without harming people. Like there are several, we have several examples that in the deep fake that we have seen a lot of videos they have created, and there are legitimate actions they have taken against that. So I think that's it. Thank you.
And if I can add to that, actually, I think at this current point in time, everyone can admit that the regulations around artificial intelligence are also very new. They're not enough, they're not perfect. And so I think as designers, as innovators, it's your duty to educate yourselves, get a good understanding of it, so that we can help govern, so that we can help regulate. Right? At the end of the day, the people in charge of governance, the regulators, they're not going to care about it until we say something about it. And so we need to have a good understanding about it. So that's all I would like to add.
The policy comes after the fact now, doesn't it? Because technology is moving so fast. So something happens and then the policymakers quickly come out with the policy. And that's the position that we're in at the moment with the technology, which is a fascinating place to be, because usually the policy comes and then we make the move. But technology is moving at such a rate at the moment that it's changed. This kind of a moment is changing the way that policy is being made as well. But also, around that is the situation of decentralization. Around that is the designing of governance. Governance is how societies work. The universities in the West are now coming out with programs about designing governance. When working with decentralized systems where there are 100 people, 1,000 people working together, we have to understand how to govern that space. So I think the problems exist when what we're talking about gets put in the hands of the one again, when those individuals take control of it. So far, governments haven't got control of it. They don't know what's going on with AI. So far, there are the media moguls like Ellen and his Twitter dabbling with it. But actually, I think it comes from a world which is very open source. It comes from a place in which people are working cooperatively together within a decentralized forum. As long as it stays in that space, as long as they understand that governance, things will be in a very exciting space and growing. We just have to be careful about which individual hands take the monopoly of that, really, I would say.
That's a very good question. And the answer to that is I see these jobs developing. The change is naturally it's positive, right? For the most part, our art directors, our designers, they're able to do more, right? I think realistically one of the biggest benefits that we have seen right now with artificial intelligence is the ability to provide our product faster. They don't spend as much time on it, and not just that, we can provide more of it, right? So our customers, our clients, they're happy because they have more options. So realistically, we haven't lost any jobs, right? Copywriters are still there, content writers, everyone are still there, right? That's because at the end of the day, prompting is extremely important. I think I had seen LinkedIn jobs for prompt specialists, prompt analysts. These are new jobs that are opening up, right? So definitely. So I think that is one good example of it, and I think people who use AI specialists, especially when it comes to Illustrator, when it comes to using Firefly, these are people that we are actively looking for, because there are clients today, big companies in Sri Lanka, that want us to use AI. There was an interesting marketing campaign done by Ideal. Ideal is one of the largest liquor suppliers in the country, right? And there's a regulation in Sri Lanka called NATA, which basically prevents you from utilizing women, utilizing people, utilizing anything for advertising alcohol in Sri Lanka. What they had done is they had gone ahead and created AI. They'd used AI people, AI beings, and they had created a full marketing campaign around it, and honestly, the creatives were breathtaking, right? The person who did the entire campaign was actually at AOD yesterday, and I got to have a conversation with him. But these are ways of us basically finding loopholes and us using it to move forward and push regulation and try new things. And true enough, there might be certain loopholes that should not be pushed, and regulation needs to come in for that as well. But for the most part, it's an indicator that there is more opportunity. So I can't tell you what more jobs there could be. We are investing in jobs. We are investing in more opportunities for people. I think prompt specialists will be something that we're looking for next year, but I can't anticipate, yeah.
Thank you. Any final questions? I think we're almost at, no? Okay. Okay, sure.
Is this really from again, innovation point of view, especially with the singular time and audience, whenever we have to get people? Because most often we find getting more information on English-based stuff is very easy. But is there anything going to come up in that space where you can get more consumer insights, more related information in that space?
You mean in the Sinhala language?
Yeah, singular and
Yes, actually, in the university level, we have a lot of research going on, and in the especially in the translation level, because in Sri Lanka we have a problem when we get collecting the text, because we are actually people, we are not actually speaking pure Sinhala or pure Tamil. We usually speak Singlish or Tanglish kind of languages. So when it comes to the translation, the collecting data sources is actually a very big problem. However, so with this Gen AI approaches, actually now we actually building up this lot of content to train our AI models. And recently we have a very good project we named Sita, which goes in the university level. So, and it will come into the society very soon.
Thank you very much to our panelists. I think we had a very interesting discussion and very insightful as well. And also to our audience, thank you for being here, and thank you for the very intelligent and interesting questions that you have asked. We wish you an amazing Saturday, and there's a whole lineup of programs happening today at SLDF. So go check them all out, and wish you all a great weekend. Thank you for being here.
Thank you once again for the panelists and for helping guiding us to this very insightful session, as you mentioned. But everyone else here, please hold on to your seats, because at 11:30 we have Polly coming here who will be holding a discussion regarding their strategies on reducing plastic waste, and we're working with brands to enhance sustainability. Of course, if any of you guys are interested as well, please stay back. And yeah, so no matter 11:30, Polly's coming here. Thank you.